Come on, come on.
Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Berg, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're talking about the rich versus poor, ladies and gentlemen. You are participating no matter which way you slice it, even if you do not know about it. You are participating. There's a will, there's a way, but now you're going to find out where it leads you down a path you may not know. And buy the assets before it's too late. Highly recommended. And welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being here on this Friday night live stream. And before we start, please share the videos. You never know who you're trying to help or who you may help. And you never know who doesn't even know they need the information. But it all leads to one road. You live in capitalist society. They're coming for your money and they're coming for your wealth. You have to protect it at all costs. It's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen. It's real in the field. Now, let's get into it, shall we, tonight? Let me see who's going to be in the house, because we have a few things that we're going to talk about, and it is not pretty. In fact, I'm going to go back over time, and that means from 2000, from 1970s, so people can see what happens when you actually decide to just blindfold yourself and just think of the status quo, because that's what makes you happy. You're not thinking of the fallout. What do I mean? Financial fallout. You are involved whether you like it or not. And you are being used no matter if you like it or not. Now you're just going to have to decide on what side of the fence do you want to be on. But we do know this. Nobody's stopping you from buying assets. That's the first part of this equation, but we're going to get into some more than just that. Let's see who's here tonight. And once again, chat room is open to everybody. Laverne Penix is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with that icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he says, "Hello, SSN Nation," as he starts his tagline. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification and saw the trailer. Thank you so much for that information. If you saw the trailer, if you did not receive the notification, please make sure you click the all notification bell here. Now, Laverne Penix, known in this YouTube street as Mr. Cool, an investor, is in the house. A man of knowledge with business as well, is here. And if you have questions, the chat room, like I just mentioned, open to everybody, because we try to help you out here, ladies and gentlemen. That is the SSN Nation way. Now, E. White is again in the house. Another investor is here, and he has that tagline, and he has an icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate as well. Welcome, E. White, to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. And he says his tagline, "Good evening, Eric and SSN family. Rich people acquire assets." He's hit that on the head. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. Exactly, and well said, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm about to show you. E. White has put it directly in the perspective and directly in your pocket, your hands, your life, ladies and gentlemen, because what he just said is the key right there. There's nothing more to say. We can just drop the mic and walk off right now. That's right. You know what he's talking about? Some of you just got paid. And it's about that time to get dressed and go out to the nightclubs or go out to party and do whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But just keep in mind the hundreds of dollars that you're spending is liability thrown out of a window. In fact, don't even go out tonight. Just open up your window and just throw out a few $100. Call it a night instead of on Monday going down to get some stocks or putting your money in, I don't even care, a treasury bill at 5%. I don't even care. But buy an asset that pays you over time. You're spending 4, 5, 6, 8 grand, 10 grand a year on entertainment, jet setting around the world, on vacation, taking cruises, doing whatever, and you're spending 15 to 20K. You don't care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to come back to haunt you, because replacing what you have given away is going to be a problem when things cost more later. We have illustrations, and you know I like statistics and I like information. And I like information when they break it down even to a little lower barrier so everybody can understand what you're working with. Now, let's start this off, because everybody here in the SSN Nation, we know 65% of Americans walking around are living paycheck to paycheck. We also know 60% of Americans walking around do not have $500 in their bank account. We also know 70% of Americans do not have $1,000 in their bank account. So we can all stop pretending, because you know what comes next. All-time record high in debt, trillions of dollars, almost equal to our federal deficit. Imagine that. So if we have all those numbers, and we're talking about 60% is 180 million plus, because we're not even counting the 350 million there really is, but we're still 180 over that. 60% doesn't have $500. 70%, which is 210 million plus, does not have 1,000 in their bank account. Ladies and gentlemen, that means you don't have disposable income. Only 30% of the population has extra income to put towards buying assets. But the question is, what are those 70% of people doing? I just illustrated one form of what they're doing. Thousands of dollars hanging out with friends, family, and sitting in the VIP section. Or at the mall right now, or shopping online, or at the car dealership, another liability. So, you want wealth inequality statistics? We're about to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. And depending on what nationality you are, which you should be American, depending on what ethnic class you're in, you might want to hold on tight, because you ain't going to like these numbers. I'm going to tell you right now, while you out here playing around. Let's just go with the overall numbers first. Here it is, right in your face. The top 10% of households by wealth had 6.5 million on average. Remember the top 10 percenters? As a group, just the top 10 percenters, they held 66% of total household wealth. The bottom 50% of households by wealth had 50,000 on average. 10% of 300 is 30 million. The bottom 50% is 150 million, ladies and gentlemen. 30 million people have, what is that? 10 times, 20 times, 100 times more than 100 times the total of the bottom 50%. This is insanity, ladies and gentlemen, while you're out here having fun. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip. We're going to start with just that little tip right there. And I'm just going to say, we will go to the next thing, which I'm going to actually switch screens today. But make sure you smash that like button, because the YouTube gods don't want people to know what you're up against out here. You don't realize what you are actually doing. You are actually helping the wealthy. That's what you're doing. I'm not mad at you, because you don't know. You're giving your money to the 401k in hopes to get a return. But that's actually helping the wealthy, which is not your fault in reality, because you have to make your money work for you so you can get some money back. You got to have assets, right? Now, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, wealth distribution in the United States, this is just the third quarter. So what that usually means, the third quarters are run January, February, March. That's the first quarter. April, May, June is the second quarter. July, August, September is the third quarter of the year. So this is just one quarter out of four. Look at this right here. This is a wealth scale. I want you to pay attention to this right here. See this gray area at the bottom? Look at this. 36% of all wealth in the third quarter. This is the top 10%, 90% to 99%. Is that crazy or what? That's the gray. Now, look at this. 99 to 99.9. 1 point, not even that. It's 1.9%. They own 16% of the wealth. Are you paying attention yet? Here's the top 9%, or 90% to 99 is 36%. Now the 1.9 is 16. 36 and 16. You guys know the number. That's 52%. You're getting it yet? Now look at this. 0.1% owns 13.9% of the wealth. We can't even get out of the top 10 before it's 36 plus 16 is 52 plus another 13%. That is insane. That's 66% just in the top 10. And what do you think that big red sign over there is? You're not going to like this, ladies and gentlemen, because it's actually 50% of the wealthiest to the 90%. That's another 30%. 66 plus 30% is 66, 67% of the wealth is in the top 50% of the wealthiest. Are you paying attention yet? Is the alarm bells going off yet? Not yet? Well, it's about to, because you see this little green thing right here? This is the bottom 50%. The bottom 150 million Americans only own 2.6% of the wealth. Do you get this? 2.6. That means 50% and up own 97.4% of all the wealth in America. And you thought you had a chance. You thought you had a chance. Does this look like you have a chance? We're going to stomp on you like a bug out here if you keep playing around. You think the bottom 50% of the wealthiest have a chance when all they own is 2.6% of the wealth? Like you're going to change things? The only way you're going to change things is you're going to have to move up the wealth scale. Now you understand what we talk about here in the SSN Nation. What do the wealthiest hold? They hold stock, they hold real estate, and above all, they buy and own businesses. That's what they do. So what does that mean? You need to do it too, except there's one little problem. 2.6% of the wealth it's going to be awfully hard to go up against the 97.5%. I'm sorry, 98. Is it 98? No, 97.4%. It's going to be awfully hard to go up against them, ladies and gentlemen. When they have all the wealth, they're going to squash us like a bug, right? So what does that mean? That just means you better be buying assets that pay you, like E. White said right here, ladies and gentlemen. Rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that think they are assets. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you better change your habit fast, because it's not a thing of if you're going to be in a class that you can never get out of. It's just a matter of when. I've been saying this for 5 years. You guys can see what has happened in the last 5 years is dramatically changed on how much you have to pay for goods and services. The Federal Reserve systems around the world are not going to stop printing money, because that doesn't affect them. The wealthy doesn't care about inflation. They're still out here partying. They don't care. Who's it going to affect? The bottom 50%. It's going to squash you. It's going to come rolling over you, and you're going to sit there and try to blame who? I had a conversation today when somebody's trying to blame some other people that's trying to get out of their situation, who are in the 2.6% or less in their country, and they're trying to come to our country. We had a conversation about this. And here's the numbers. Who do you think is really... Now, I want to ask somebody something right now. Let me get myself a little bit on screen here. I want to ask you something right now. So if you are, you're the bottom 50%, most of you watching this, and you are sitting there at 2.6% of the total wealth in America in the third quarter. Explain to me one thing. Why are you willing to give the top 97.6%? Why are you giving them tax breaks? Why are you giving them tax cuts? Why are you giving them subsidies? Where does that money come from? Well, we're going to get into that shortly, but you know who has to pay for that, right? Your taxes that you pay go towards saving their asses, and you're all happy about it. But hold on, you're going to blame somebody else? Look at how they got you out here confused. They're going, hey, man, we're going to create more jobs. That's why you should give us a tax cut. And you're like, wait, how come you're not taking risks like I have to take risks? Why are we giving you a tax cut? No, why don't you just pay your taxes and I'll pay mine, because you're coming after me if I don't pay mine. You're taking 20% of my money and you're only going to take 6% of their money? They make more money, 100 times more. Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. I just ask the questions. Why are you signing up to have a stadium in your country, in your city, and you're willing to pay part of it? Your city's going to go, oh, hey, it brings in thousands of jobs, but it's going to cost like $500 million. So we're going to have to increase your sales tax or your county tax in the country. And you're going to sign up for it, aren't you? Because you always do. Because they talk you into like you're going to get something out of it. All these stadiums, all of these billionaires who own all these sports franchises, you're getting a whole bunch out of it, aren't you? All of them people that are showing up at the games, all of them people buying tickets and hot dogs and beer and all that at the concession stands. And yeah, they employ about 5,000 to 10,000 people potentially. How's that going for you? Your taxes are going up, aren't they? Ain't stopping, but you got to pay more. How come you ain't making them pay more? Why are you signing up for this garbage, ladies and gentlemen? I'm asking for a friend. All right? Think about it. You guys are out here playing around. You're going to be squashed pretty soon. 2.6. The bottom 50% owns 2.6 of the wealth. Let's move on. We got more for you. Don't worry. We got some more. This is going to be interesting tonight. We got some more. You're not going to like this, ladies and gentlemen, at all. Victor Marrero, another real estate investor, another business person, another short-term rental person, another person that's soon to be a retiree has joined the party tonight. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with the icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he brings his tagline, hello all, let's do this. That's what we say. That's what we do. We have to do it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do it too before it's too late. You might be out here going, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Well, all I'm going to tell you is You need to figure out how to squeeze some extra money out of that paycheck so you can put it towards assets and start, because you will not be able to catch up. They are so far ahead of you. So you have to do any little step to catch up. We're going to get deeper. We're going to get a lot deeper. But before I do that, I think it's time for me. Let me see something here. Let me see what time is it. Okay. I'm going to play a little video today, I think. Let's see. Not yet. So I'm going to have to add it. I think I can add it anyhow while we're talking here tonight. Let's see if that's going to be any better tonight. Okay. Let's get into some more of this, because I know there's some people out here going, oh my God, this is what he's telling us. Oh, by the way, hold on a second. Yeah. I don't want people to be confused here, because this confusion is causing a simple scenario that people are not going to like. Right now, we talked about this on Wednesday, where New York Community Bank got literally bailed out $1 billion. All right. It's your money. You put the money in banks. You buy stock in Chase and all the companies that help these guys get bailed out. They're not bailing you out, but you don't care, right? On Wednesday, we showed you New York NYCB Bank got a $1 billion infusion after buying the toxic assets of Signature Valley Bank in California, who they took their assets allegedly. Well, their assets were garbage. So now they need $1 billion. And then they bailed out some other people for the Signature Bank. Wonder who's going to have to pay for all these bailouts, ladies and gentlemen. Put a big smile on your face. Congratulations. You are. All right. Congratulations. Let's get to it. Here we go. Let's see. Where's the third one that I want to get into tonight? Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's go right here. Let's just go right to this. Why don't we just go right here? This right here, I wanted to show even up to 2016 what was happening. This is what I wanted to show right here. This is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible. Look at this. Look at this. The rich have become richer as the poor have gone underwater. Notice how they put this. This is exactly correct. Underwater. Average household wealth in 2016 dollars, which is fine, but I want to show you they started 1983. 1983. Bottom 40%. Average household wealth. All right. Uh-oh. What happened? What happened? What's going on? Okay. Bottom 40%, 1983, 6,900. All right. I know what happened in the 80s. Some of you don't realize the president, Ronald Reagan, you know what he did? Tax cut, tax breaks, but he did one better. He said, I don't care about the lower middle class. We're just going to decrease the tax rate for the wealthy. That's right. You heard me. Did you hear me? Decrease the tax rate for the corporations and the wealthy. You heard me, right? Okay, I'm just checking, making sure you heard me. But don't worry, people signed up. They hailed the man as great. Did not realize you were screwed because you're paying the difference. So prices have to go up, don't they? But guess what? Who owns the assets, ladies and gentlemen? So when prices go up, they make the most profit and pay the less taxes. Congratulations. You did a great job. All right, look at this. 2016, the bottom 40% only got 8,900. Notice the difference. Bottom 40%, 6,900 to, what is that, 20, 30, what is that, 33 years later? 33 years later, 8.9%. But hold on a second. Let me see something. There's a negative sign in front of that. Oh my goodness. underwater. It went from 6,900 to negative 8,900. Oh, you thought it was 8,900. I know. And you thought you're all good. You guys weren't paying attention in the 80s, were you? You weren't paying attention in the 90s either, were you? But we'll get to that shortly. Look at here, 1983. Now, keep in mind, this is the top 1%. Okay? Top 1%. Look at this. $10 million. 565,000 is the top 10% in 1983. Oh, what could go wrong, I wonder, when you give tax cut, tax breaks, put in bonds because you got to have a new stadium. Oh, I wonder what could happen. We got to subsidize the oil and gas industries as well. I wonder what's going to happen. Okay, let's see what happened. They go from 10.5 to 26.4 million dollars. Is that 2.5 times? Yes, that is 2.5 times. Meanwhile, the bottom 4%, you went backwards. You're negative. You're negative. Oh my God. Now, I got to remind you, this is the top 1%. This is what's crazy. I don't even want to do this, but I'm going to have to show you because now we're just going to go to the top 0.1%. Let me make sure this is on screen. It is on screen because you guys, I'm like, are you serious? Here's the top 0.1%. 99.9% is off the table. We're talking about 0.1%. So anybody, please do 0.1% times 300 million. I think that's probably going to be like 3,000 people, right? I think I'm right. Let me pull up a calculator real quick. Let me just go look myself. We got 300 million people times 0.1%. 300,000 people, not 3,000. So we have 300,000 people. That is it. But guess what? In 1983, they had 43.267 million. 33 years later, oh my God, 100,811,000. Don't worry, you participated, you played in the game, you didn't realize you were losing. So is it no surprise after you see this chart, the household wealth chart, why you are living paycheck to paycheck? 70%, 60% of people don't even have over $1,000 in their bank account. Is there any shock here? The only people you can blame is you, because you keep participating. And what's even worse, you keep voting against your best interest. That is a problem. So you might want to start thinking, who wants the wealthy this $100 million to pay the same amount of taxes you pay? How would you like to see them pay 20%, 23% in annual tax? But that's not how it works. As you make more money, you have to pay a higher tax rate, allegedly. So what do? Oh, hell no. Hold up a second. We are going to make a trust. We are going to actually create businesses. We're not going to get paid from our businesses. We're going to make sure we have shares of stock. So then that way you give me a loan. So then when I pay you back, I don't have any tax problems. I don't have to pay taxes. And better yet, why don't we just keep an offshore company somewhere in the world and collect money offshore, and we still don't collect any tax money from us? How about that? You wonder why the big boys get ahead? Because they're using their money to get and game the system. Now, I know I'm on a rant tonight. I know I might be on a roll. But again, ladies and gentlemen, 43 million now at 100 million in 2016. That, again, they've doubled their money. but you helped them. You didn't care about tax cut, tax break subsidies. You never cared. You didn't care about not paying people what they should be paid. You never cared. But clearly they could have paid people more for their work. They could have, but why? Why would I do that since you freely don't give a damn? The majority, there's more people in the bottom 40% than there are in the top 1% and top 1.1%. All right, let's get real. 3 million people is in the 1%. 300,000 is the 0.1. So 1.3 million. That's it. They're the top 1.1s in America out of 300 million people. And you think you're special. You think they care about you. And you really think somebody's out there. I give a damn about you when I'm a billionaire. Give me a break. Stop playing with yourself out here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you're being fooled. You're being bamboozled. And again, we have to keep pointing this out. This ain't for the faint of heart. I know. Here we go again. Let me just show you this too. We're going down this list. The richest 5% of Americans own 2/3 of the wealth. This is 1962 to 2016. This is why they try to erase books. Because if you were able to go back and see how much people were paying for things, how much homes cost, how much cars cost, and in 1960s, when you go in and see a car cost $500 that you could buy. And now they're those same things 50 years later, 60 years later, they're like 100,000. There's clearly something wrong. And the history books tell you the United States went off the gold standard in 1972. That means they could print money with reckless abandon. So just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, look at this. The top 1% is sitting right here. Look at this. But look what's happening to the bottom 90%. Living paycheck to paycheck. Wonder why? Because you keep doing the same damn thing. And you keep allowing these people to do the same damn thing because you keep saying, yeah, we want more of this. Yum, yum, chum, chum. Because you know why? Because when I reduce the federal funds rate, that spurs the economy. So while the economy is growing, you're also printing more money. And now down the road, you're going to have to pay it back somehow. And it's called inflation. But if you own a business like the top 5%, like the top 10% do, we get to stay ahead of the game because we get to raise prices to match the inflation. So we're not going to lose. The people who work for us are, because you're not going to get a raise every year to match inflation. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's keep going. The richest 1% hold more than half of stock. And get this, this is the most important part, and I couldn't believe this was here. Less than 5% of the debt. Do you not see this? When people say get rid of the debt, guess what? The 1%, they are like, forget that debt. We don't need it. Why? Because you are willing to pay 20%, 30%, 15%, 10% for debt. They're like, why do we need to hold debt? All our money needs to be in assets. 5% of debt. That's it. With the billions, or shall I say trillions of dollars, that's all they hold, ladies and gentlemen. Is that incredible? But look at this. Look at this. This is not pretty. The bottom 90% shares 46.2%. The next 99% is 48.8%. This is pension accounts. Bottom 50%. Notice next 9. So that's 59%. 48% of pension accounts. Do you know what pension accounts mean? Victor Morero has one. A lot of you do. Maybe Laverne Penix has one. E. White's going to have one. This is when you've worked for 40 years or 30 years and you have retirement monies coming in and you put your money in a pension. Putting your money in a pension, who does that help, ladies and gentlemen? Those who own corporations. Why? The money is sitting there. They get to use that money to make more money. Think about it. All right. Let's go to real estate. Bottom 90%, they own 55.3%. Now, let's get real. You know what a real estate is if you're not using it to churn money back to you? That's a liability, ladies and gentlemen. They don't care if you own those. You're paying for it. That means you have to show up at work. That also means you're going to be stressed. All right? This is SSN Nation, everybody. Welcome to the SSN Nation on this Friday night. Victor Marrero, he says it. Eric, unfortunately, the rich and powerful control politics. Victor Marrero, you are exactly right, but they don't really control it. Hold on, I'm going to say something. It's a lost cause. No, it's not a lost cause. That's the kicker right there. All we can do is fight as hell to get a piece of the pie by getting assets. Now, I do agree with that. This is why we talk assets here. We should all have a set tax rate. Victor Marrero, there you go. Now you're talking about it. Well, we got a situation right now when we start talking about the rich and powerful control politics. They don't really. Here's what happens. You as the American citizens, just like Victor Marrero mentions this, just like when they call you up and you have a vote, a referendum, and they talk you into paying for a billionaire sports team to come to town. And they say, vote on this referendum that you want to add 1% to the sales tax. Everybody goes, oh, wow, we're going to have this professional franchise team here. We'll pay the extra 1%. No, hold on. You're not going to pay the extra 1%. It's going to be those people coming from out of town to come to the sports event that's going to pay the extra 1%. Wink, wink. That's how they treat you. Oh, and by the way, they're going to employ 5,000 people. Yo, yeah, 5,000 people making minimum wage is what you mean? Come on now. Stop playing. So you guys eat it all up. Oh, this is all good. And then what do? They go, oh, man, that 1%, it's going to take a while to get the money in. So you're going to be voting for that bond. That's right. That bond, that is a debt instrument. That means you are paying into the bond that they borrow to build their facilities and stadium. The billionaires, the guys, the top 1.3 million, you're paying for their stuff and you're sitting there happy about it because we got a professional franchise in town. Or we'll flip it the other way. Elon Musk is building a factory in our backyard. So we'll just give him the land. Who's going to pay the taxes for? Oh, he's bringing 10,000 jobs over the next 10 years, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to pay their taxes. Otherwise, he won't come. Yeah, that's what you guys are doing. Making them not even have to pay anything. We'll give you the free land. You don't have to pay taxes for 20 years either. Who's going to pay the taxes for all the new people coming in and all the new building and all the new infrastructure? Oh, don't worry, people who live there. You are. We're going to raise your taxes. Your property tax is going to go up. Your sales tax is going to go up. Your hotel and occupancy taxes are going to go up because, people are going to come visit from around town. You guys sign up. And, oh, by the way, there's a bond coming too. So you guys can, pay that debt vehicle as well for them. Meanwhile, 20 years, he gets to go, thank you very much. It's all good. I'm so benevolent and all. Come on now. Stop it, ladies and gentlemen. Amazon looking for HQ2. What did they do? You guys helped them. You are participating. You said, hey, I want HQ2. We'll give them the free land. No worries. Hey, we'll pay for their facility because it's Amazon. They're going to bring in thousands of jobs. Yeah, until you find out there are thousands of jobs, they pay you like $15 to $20 an hour and you can't live or buy a house or buy assets hardly. You're living paycheck to paycheck, but you signed up for it. You voted for it. You're voting for it. There's two different sets of thoughts. You either going to, every time you're in power, you're going to tell people, give them tax cuts and tax breaks, or every time you get in power, you're trying to pass things that says they got to pay more taxes and no tax cuts and tax breaks. So there is a difference, but we got people out here who doesn't care. You want to participate. Then you want to say, somebody ain't helping me. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, you can look at your neighbor in the eye and go, why weren't you with us with this? You were sitting there voting for people that want to give these guys tax cut, tax break subsidies, and you're all happy about it because it looks good on the news. But your pocket, when you get your check and you're going, hey, man, why does everything cost like double than it did like 4 years ago or 3 years ago or 10 years ago? It's because you said, we don't care about bringing in and giving these guys whatever they want. We don't care. And we also don't care, like Victor Marrero alluded to. They control politics, but they don't. You keep allowing them to control the politics because they need flunkies in politics. So if they have the flunkies who say, we don't care about giving the rich all this money because, you know, we're a third world country. You know, our government officials take bribes. So you really think the wealthy guys aren't going to go to the guys that are going to give them tax cut, tax breaks so they can spin a tale how it's going to benefit you? And then you go and vote for them clowns? Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. Don't blame somebody else. You can blame somebody else if you start showing your voting record. But I'm sitting here, I'm not going to sit here and vote for somebody who says, yeah, man, every time the rich guys want something, we're just going to lower their taxes. We're going to make the bottom 90% pay for their taxes, pay for their subsidies, pay for their stadiums, pay for their businesses when they move. What are you guys thinking? Seriously. But don't worry, we got good stories to spin that it's going to benefit you. I mean, trickle down to you is what it was called in the 80s. How did that go for you? Minus 8.9%. That's how it went for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the most dangerous people in America are people that understand cause and effect. Here's your cause and effect happening over a 30-year cycle. Stocks and mutual funds. Here we go. Bottom 90%. Look at this. A paltry 11.4%. Look at this. The next 9%, 35. And of course, the top 1%. This is Q1, 53.5% of the stocks. Imagine that. Imagine that. Things that go up in value, 55% of this is owned by the top 1%. Imagine that. I want you to notice something. The next number is total debt. The bottom 90%, ladies and gentlemen, owns 75% of the debt. This is my point that I've been making the whole time. So you're sitting over here going, tax cut for the rich? No problem. We'll take on their debt. That's what you're doing. You're participating. Want to build stadiums? We're going to be big time? No problem. We'll take the debt. Give them the free land. In fact, just add the 1% taxes to our whatever we buy. No worries. It's only 1%. Guess who's paying it, ladies and gentlemen? This number is more than credit card debt. This is their debt. You want to pay subsidies for the oil and gas industry who gouges you at the pump and they still get billions of dollars a year, and you still have to pay when there's a storm in the Gulf. All of a sudden the gas prices go up $1 or $2. Like that matters because a storm came today. The stuff is already in the ground from months ago. They already extracted it years ago, but because there's a storm, you pay more at the pump. And then the following year they go, oh, all-time record highs in profit. And you're sitting there like, but don't worry, you pay the subsidies, you pay the taxes, you pay everything for them, not everything, a large percentage for them. They just manipulate the tax code. So therefore, after you did your part, they'll take over from here because we can control the senators, the congressmen, and tell them to give us the tax loopholes that we need. because you've already done the first part. Because once you alleviate them from actually paying their taxes that they have to do up front, now they can go behind closed doors and write the code so they have the loopholes. So once again, where do you want to be? You want to be down here at the 90% or below level, or do you want to be in the top 10% level? I'm asking for all of our friends here in the SSN Nation. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real out here. We're back to the real deal. Najaway J. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. It's the world-class Wrecking Crew edition tonight. And Jaway J, another investor. Welcome once again to the Friday night live stream. And he says, with the icon next to his name, hello, SSN Nation. Happy Friday, everyone. Received notification, saw a trailer, and he one-pieced up the smash button. He smashed the like button, shall I say. Thank you so much, Jaway J. Eric saw the new logo. Looks good. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Speaking of that right now, that's right. I like this right here. This right here. This right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, check this out. Here we go. The new announcement. 2 weeks in May, musical event, SSN Lifestyle musical event. Tickets will go on sale. Hold on, it's not tonight, but they will be on sale this weekend. You'll be able to get them at ssnlifestyle.com. It's just not set yet, but the ticket sales will commence this weekend. 2 weekends. The first weekend, Sean Rayford and Experience, Lucky Witherspoon, Damian Hudson. The following week, the top 100 artists right now, Club Nouveau's coming the following week with other artists. That's right, Latin, Dominican artists are going to be on the bill as well. We're going to have our own SSN Lifestyle Got Talent sometime in about the next 3 to 4 weeks. You will be able to vote. That's right. It's going to be awesome. And I'm trying to film it, as you guys know, because we got to have residual money coming in down the line, right? It's going to be awesome. So now that he mentioned that logo situation, check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Somebody will know what this sound is. And the makers of this track, Club Nouveau, will be coming with their top 30 single hit, smash hit. That's right. By the time they show up, it could be a top 10 hit. I'm just saying. It's all right, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out. I won't play it right now because it'll be in the mid of this video and they'll copyright strike it. What I mean is by all rights, you know, ASCAP, BMI, whoever's doing their licensing, they will block it, right? Because I haven't paid for it on the channel, nor do I think I can. But nonetheless, check this out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That is the new logo that he's talking about. SSN Nation is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Lifestyle as well. We're bringing it to you, and it's going to be hot. But some of you might have heard that sound, us, in the movie. Some people might know Loonies. We got 5 on it. But did you know Club Nouveau made that track a hit in the 80s, maybe even the 90s, but it's about that old. And they did the remix, and then the Us movie, and then I have another remix by somebody else. So I thought I liked the little chill effect. I like it because people know what that is now, and it's off their song. Why You Treat Me So Bad, I believe it is. Okay, that's where they get that. Dun, 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 dun. All right, just saying, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Royalties come in for Jay. You guys have seen him a couple years ago. He was on the channel. Royalties come in when they play that in the movie, when the Loonies played it. That's right. And when they play his hit song on the radio with Club Nouveau, royalties come in. You got to love it, right? Got to love it. Checks come. All right, let's keep moving. Let's get into this even more. Let me see where we at right now. Oh, yes, we were talking about the debt, 90% of the debt, and you actually helped the rich guys pay you actually helped the rich guys get away with not paying their debt. It's hilarious when you think about it. But look here. Oh, the next 9% pay 20.5. So here we are up to 95% of all debt is paid by the top 99%. This is funny stuff, man. Look here. The top 1% only have 4.7% in debt. So do you really think you should be paying their debt? I mean, come on now. Stop it out here. Stop it, please. Stop it, people. Stop it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. So now, Eric saw the new logo. Looks good. Thank you so much. There's what he saw, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, by the way, please join us on the new WhatsApp group. Lots to go down. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. We're in holding patterns. No money has moved into the accounts yet, but it could all be a dream. It could be, because some people out here, sometimes they play. They act like they're going to do something, and then they're like, maybe not, maybe could, oh, maybe should. But that does not matter, because we always have our SSN Lifestyle Club. It's coming. Nobody can stop us, ladies and gentlemen. And what does that mean? That means a villa's coming, but it's not going to be for the faint of heart, because why? It's going to be a right to use, obviously. I already told you guys about that. Now, let's get into some more of this, shall we? And then I'm going to end this, and then we got to have a lot to talk about. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I did play a little commercial, so I won't, because this right here, the racial wealth divide has grown over 3 decades. Oh, imagine that. Why would that not happen? Okay, let's go. Here we are. For everybody, here's the numbers. In 1983, the median wealth in 1983 was 84,111. Okay, the median, okay, just so everybody understands, the median wealth is different than the average. How you do median is like you go from I'll use a top 10 list. So we go 1 through 10. And let's just say 1, the person makes $5, and number 10, the person makes $100. Whatever the person makes at the number 5 slot, that is the median average. All right. It goes by the actual number on the scale. It has nothing to do with combining all of the numbers and dividing it by 2, which would be the average. Median is when you say we got 10 people, and then we have the amount of money the top 10 people make, and then we take number 5. That's median. So it's not the average. So anyhow, you can see how median is 81,704 in 2016, 84,000 in 1983. Do you not get this yet, ladies and gentlemen? Is that not 33 years later, and you went backwards on the wealth scale? I wonder why. Here's one of the reasons. Here's the white median wealth, 110,000. Wonder what could have happened here. It's 146,000. But again, why would this occur? Because built in systemically, white people generally had more assets and could buy more assets. Remember, minorities couldn't even buy assets at one time. So they're well behind the wealth curve. So if you can't buy assets in 1895, but you can do patents, you can start a business, but you can't be on the stock exchange, that holds you back, right? You can't get loans that your counterparts can get. That holds you back, right? All right, we've come a long way, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's trying to take you to the back of the bus again. Again, you have control over it, but you keep hearing other stuff. Oh, I got to worry about somebody else taking my stuff. I'm like, wait, you guys have been taking my stuff this whole time. Changing laws even. So I just want to point out something. Black people, 1983, 7,300, $23. Here's the sad state of affairs out here. Black people, now it's down to half of that. Half. Are you still paying attention, black people? Oh, and Latinos, Chinese, other minority groups, don't start laughing. You in the same freaking boat. But black people out here, you're in the worst boat. And you still think it's cool to be doing all this other nonsense, right? Okay, keep it up. Latins, 4,289. But look at here, 6,591 in 2016. Look at the black people on the list. Let's go look at it again. Let's go look again. That's 3,500. Latinos even do 6,500 on the wealth scale. Damn near double. Not all, it's not double actually, because 7,000 would be double. But look at this. This is disgusting. Look at this. Black families with just over 35,000 owns just 2% of the wealth of the nearly 147 of the median white family owns. You call that racial inequality? Yes. But again, you're helping. You're participating. All right. This is black families are twice as likely as whites to have no wealth at all. This is 1992 to 2019. Black, Hispanic, other. At one point, one of these days, I'll redo another one where it actually shows, adds in Chinese, Americans, Black Americans, Latino, and a few other smaller minority groups. I got bad news for all the black people. You are not the minority when it comes to the population, when it comes to minority population, but you are the least wealthiest of the minority populations. So what does that tell you? Something is going wrong, very wrong. So when somebody says, why aren't you in the stock market? Somebody's saying, why aren't you buying real estate that pays you by renting it out? When somebody says you're not starting a business, you need to look at them sideways and be like, hey, man, that's the only way you're going to be able to get wealthy. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do one of those three, all three of those three, quite frankly. So think about that. Oh, this is messed up right here. Heavily skewed towards home ownership. Okay, first of all, baked into America up until we have a presidential candidate that has 3 lawsuits in the 70s about this exact very well thing, putting C on applications so he couldn't rent to people of color. Seriously. All right. Jesus. Okay. Let's go for everybody. 1983, all home ownership was 63.4. 2016, everybody on average, 63.7. Now, clearly we know minority groups aren't going to be at the average. So here we go. White is 68% in 1983, 71% in 2016. Black people are down 44,000 in 1983, 2016 down to just slightly 44,000. Latinos, we're at 32, but notice they rose. Once again, they're a smaller group, but once again, they rose. Black people, not so much. Now, this is built in, though. All right. When we start talking about this, this is built in. You guys have to understand this is built in. This is not something you have to say, okay, whatever happened before happened. But you keep saying, I don't care about what was that DEI stuff, right? Okay, well, see, here's the problem. If I have all red and red holds most of the wealth, and when somebody red comes in to get hired and get a nice paying job, I don't hire nobody but red to get paid $300,000, then that means red gets a big boost. Now, if I hire somebody yellow and I say, well, we'll pay you $50,000, right? So who's going to have the wealth? If somebody blue comes in and says, I want a job, and they say, well, we'll pay you $60,000. You cannot catch up to the guy that gets paid $300,000 because he's going to be able to buy more assets. Our system in America was built on this, and around the world was built on you can't live in this neighborhood. It's in the bylaws. You can't work at this job. You're the wrong color. So when you came up trying to get a higher paying job in the 50s, in the 60s, we come out of war. GI Bill, white person, GI Bill, no problem. People of color, GI Bill, want to get your education, problem. Built-in, systemic. So don't look at these numbers and think it's because people weren't trying. There has been barriers. That is the problem. And by the way, me banning books to tell you about the problem ain't going to help. All right. So don't look at these statistics and think that people are lazy. People don't want to do nothing. No, it's been systemic. And the fact that you had parents out here busting their asses, if you're a minority in America, who were able to get assets. And then when they pass away, you fight as a family and squander it away because they didn't know any better to get us a trust. They just said, well, a will is good. You know why? Because the system told me all I needed was a will. The only reason they tell you to get a will is so they can mess with it. You have to go through the court system, and it's systemic once again. So now you have all these families in the minority group that said, yeah, our family used to have 200 acres. Now all we have is 10. Right, because when the people that passed away, you had a will, and then you guys decided to fight. So then you had to get lawyers. You had to get the courts involved. Next thing they do is tax your property because you can't pay the fee. And you're squandering it away. No problem. Come on now. Responsibility goes all the way around. Now you have to be out here and do the right thing by buying assets that pay you. And these guys are contributing to it by saying, give me 5,000, give me 10,000 for a course. There is nothing new under the sun. You have Google out here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Here we go. Let's keep going. I'm going to go to, I already went where I wanted to go by just scrolling down the screen. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, rich versus poor has been a thing since the beginning of a capitalist system. Are you going to keep participating in helping out the rich? Or are you going to wake up one day and figure who your freaking enemy really is if you're trying to be wealthy? So let me ask you something. I'm going to give you guys a perfect example because I can talk this talk because I'm going to tell you, I told you the story before. If you try to help somebody, let me give you a playbook. I'll give you the playbook. This is the playbook. You cannot use this playbook, but they allow you to use it now. But back in the day, my playbook, just like right now, there are people out here who are losing their jobs, i.e., why is there a high rate of cars being repossessed? Because so many people are living paycheck to paycheck. So now you mess up your credit. So that is wiped off the table. And now you don't have a job to boot too. So the hiring index score is now low. So you may not get a nice paying job. So what if you had a guy, Bird's Automotive, and you said, hey, man, you don't have to lose your vehicle? What do you mean, Eric? Well, just bring your car in, sign over the contract, pre-sign over the title. We're going to find somebody to take over payments on your car. They're going to send you the payment monthly. So your credit's still going to be intact. Why would I do this, Eric? Well, do you want to let your car get repossessed so now your credit goes to hell? Or do you want your credit to still be good? And now the other person, why would they pay an enormous amount? Why would they give me like $5,000 to take over payments on this person's car? Because they messed up their credit and they cannot get a nice car without paying a ridiculous high interest rate. So it's a win, win, win. And it wins for the business because why? We guarantee that we're going to make the payment if these people don't make the payment. Guess what happens? All of a sudden, the car dealerships, the car companies, and the lenders, they aren't getting repossessions. What happens when you repossess a vehicle is, this is what could happen, not saying it happens all the time. What could happen is you owe $50,000. You paid $20,000. They repossess the vehicle. You still owe 30. They take it down to the auction. They don't give a damn. They sell it to somebody for 10, their buddy, because the car is really worth like 30. And then they send you a note saying you owe us $20,000. And you're like, I don't even have the car anymore. They're like, that's right. But you see here in the contract, if we repossess the vehicle and then we resell it, then you got to pay the difference. So you have a note on your credit report that you don't even have a vehicle. Okay, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? When you have some young gun that took that off the table, all of a sudden they get a notice going, what's happening? We are down millions of dollars annually because what's going on? Well, there's this young gun that started this thing. He's taking those repossession vehicles off the table because he's finding people to take over payments on them. What? That is genius. But it's not genius to us because we're losing billions of dollars. So what do? They do the thing that Victor Marrero just said. They say, we got to go down to the state of California, to the Capitol. We need to talk to the governors and the senators of the state of California. We need them to change the laws to say you cannot do subleasing of motor vehicles. Not only that, because if somebody does it, it's under the table anyhow, so they won't know. Because when payments come in, do they really look at who's making the payment? Come on, let's get real. So they knew that. So what's their next move? They go and change the insurance rule. Because back in the day, you could just get in somebody's car, call up your insurance company, and say, I am driving this car with this VIN number, register to this person, I'm paying the insurance. Done. But they got these guys to put in their law books in the state of California, you can't do that anymore. So Victor Marrero, they changed the laws, changed the rules. You see how it works now? Because they were losing billions of dollars. But fast forward 30 years later, and you could have some of these cars that people rent, some of these cars that some of these Lambos and whatever high-end vehicles that they now do consignment. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. They allow that to happen now because wonder why. They overlooked the law that they have on the books in California until those same consignment stores scam people by actually selling the vehicle and then not giving people the money. But the whole time, there's a law on the books that you can't even sublease in the first place. I'm just saying. Funny how that works. So you guys are talking to a guy who changed laws, who did all this stuff, and the government of the state of California said we got to change up. We can't have Mr. Bird doing his thing because what else, ladies and gentlemen? I was making my own dealerships. They were like, oh, hell no. He's going to Nevada. He's going to New Mexico. He's going to the Bay Area. He's going to LA. He's starting a network. Not on our watch. We're shutting this crap down. We're losing billions. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I talk a lot of mess here. You guys have no idea what's been going on. It's real out here in the field. Don't let these clowns fool you like this. All right, I'm sorry. I had to go on a rant. Okay. He says he can't hear me. Oh, my. That's not good. What's happening here? Might check. Let me know if you can hear me now. Hold on a second. I've been going on a rant. Can you hear me? Oh, they shut me down. Wow. That's amazing. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. Hold on. In fact, this will be a good time. I'm going to stop something real quick. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to do land auction, LA. Let's go land auction, LA. The young gun in the house.
To order that free brochure, now is the time to do it. It's a free call and a free brochure. There's absolutely no obligation when you call. Do yourself a favor and order the free brochure and look it over. There are hundreds of properties to choose from. You may just be surprised at what you find. And like I said, it's free. So make that call. Start planning your future by owning real estate today. What did you think of the selection of properties that we had available for you?
Well, I thought that there was a vast selection of properties in different cities and different counties and different states. It was a spectacular, selection. And so for someone that does their homework, they can really get a lot of great buys.
There are a large variety of sizes and prices and locations, so I think that's fantastic. It just gives you a good opportunity to find the best parcel for you.
They have 150, 200 pieces of property, so there's something here for everybody. North Coast, South Coast, ocean, desert.
Well, actually, I've been on properties in California, in Utah, Nevada, Hawaii, and New Mexico.
What do you think of the variety of the property?
Absolutely. All over the United States. You guys have property in Hawaii, for God's sakes, for dirt cheap. I mean, you can't beat that.
$1,200 in Hawaii. 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,009.
The land is selling like crazy in there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. You see the young gun in the house been doing it. Landauction.com no longer. But I know their properties, and it looks very familiar to discountlots.com. You heard discountlots.com. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. Nobody's stopping you out here. You just have to come up with a plan. And I've told this story before, and I'll tell it again. You see, I was there. That was at the Universal Studios Sheraton, this particular one that they shot in LA. Also who was there was, and I'll use a famous name because nobody knows what his real name is, but one of the youngest sons, Ray Charles, the singer, his son is in the audience. I don't know he's his son. I don't know nothing about him, but he knows I was up there bidding. And at that particular auction, I think I bought 3 properties. All right. That's a whole nother story. So now, next time I see him at another land auction event in Southern California, he comes up and talks to me and says, hey, man, I'm thinking about buying. It might even been this one. I'm thinking about buying 20 to 30 acres in the desert. But my wife doesn't think it's a good idea because it's in the desert, like Palm Springs area. Up somewhere out there, Riverside County, Palm Springs, whatever, San Bernardino. So I'm sitting there like, okay, so what's your plan? He says, my plan is this. I am going to make a dirt track with mounds on it and a little like our park, like a sports park. And then I'm going to bring my own food and drink and all that so people can buy it because it has no electricity on the land if I buy it. That's what he tells me. Now it's probably 6 months later. The next auction is at Irvine, where the second video is shot that I'm in for Land Auctions infomercial late night. That's a loop that I'm showing you guys that used to run on the infomercial at late night to get people to come down to their auction. So on Friday night and Saturday, they would run that infomercial, and Thursday nights because the auctions are on Saturday. So these guys are running that on a loop. All right, while people are talking and saying, come on down, and shows the books and shows you the lots and parcels and what it looks like in their book. And so that's how they got a lot of people to come down. So we're at Irvine at another event, and he comes up to me, and then he tells me, Eric, what I told you back then, I actually have done. And then he brought gifts. He's like, I knew you were going to be here. Because you told me if there's something on Clear Lake or Shelter Cove, you always like to come down to Southern California because it's in Northern California and nobody from Southern California is going to go up there and look at the land. So therefore, they're not going to know what it's worth or why they would be buying it. And the price won't be that high. So I knew you'd be here. He brings me gifts, meaning he starts bringing me books, DVDs, because he's an avid collector of history And he starts bringing me all this stuff. He says, man, come on down. Because of you, I got this stuff out here in San Bernardino, Riverside County, wherever it ends up being, because of you. This is what we've been doing, ladies and gentlemen, for a long time. So don't let it fool you out here. All right. The most dangerous man in America potentially could be back. All right. Corleone King, welcome to the SSN Nation Friday Night Live stream. And on this episode of Eric Exposing the Capitalist Greed and Corruption. Exactly, my man. This is why I've always been dogging these guys. They needed the state of California. They needed the DOJ to block me. That's what they've been doing, spending their lives to block me. But I've been chilling for the last 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. I've been chilling after these guys have blocked me, because I won't even get into the story of $2 million that the DOJ finagled away out of me as well back in the day, because these clowns raided my manager's office, and he's sitting there calling me up. Eric, what did you do? They're raiding the office. I'm like, who? What are you talking about? The DOJ. They're saying you did all kind of what? You're my property manager. What are you talking about? You selling drugs or something? What's going on? What are you talking about? He's like, they said you're doing all this stuff. I'm like, are you not my property manager? You collect the money. What are you talking about? You send money to my mortgage companies too. So what did I do wrong? Explain. And why are you freaking out? They raided my office. They're throwing my chairs and desk around. What did you do? I didn't do nothing. Click. What the frick? This is what the man's been going through, ladies and gentlemen. Have no fear, but fear itself. That was the young millionaire himself on there. Corleone King. There you go, my man. That's what we do. We've been doing this. So everything that I'm telling you guys is not something that I just pop out of my head. I've been doing this my whole life, damn near. The only people that interfered is the state of California, the state of Nevada, and the Department of Justice. Again, I was doing the takeover in Nevada. And these guys go, wait a minute. How's this guy accumulating all this stuff so fast? What the hell's going on? I know. We'll raid his manager's office and come up with some story that he stole $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 from somebody. We don't care. We'll make this shit up. This is what they do. So you guys understand, I'm not afraid of these guys because I know what they do. They do dirty stuff. And now that we have social media, people know the government does shady stuff. Epstein in custody, kills himself? Really? Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. He was about to go off on a lot of powerful people. Let's get real. Come on now. There's all kind of stuff going on, and you guys are sitting there going through life like, That's fine. That's good for you. Some of us been out here slaying dragons. That's all I can say. All right, let's go. What else are we going to talk about tonight? Rich versus poor. It's a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Soon as you start doing something great and start bypassing their system, all of a sudden they're like, hold on, we can't have that. He's not with us. He's trying to help other people. Did you see he had a seminar and he actually allowed people to come for free and he's telling them how to do stuff and make money without us, how to bypass our system and pay less taxes? Can you believe this? We better do something about it. We got to mess with this protege as well. His protege is going to have a meeting in the Bay Area. Yeah, my protege. They come to my protege's event who's going to help people with real estate investments, not even buying or selling, not taking people around like sheep in a shuttle and say, oh, buy this lot here because we already bought it, but we're not going to tell you that. But you buy this right here. No, none of that. We're telling you just what I'm telling you here. The protege is like, hey, you guys want to get projects like apartment buildings, stuff like that. Well, you can come and get funding from these people and you don't have to pay any money. Just what I talk about. The DOJ shows up, says, oh, we're shutting this down. You can't do this. Everybody's like, what do you mean you can't do this? Nobody's charging anything. We're just telling, I wasn't there. It's a good thing I wasn't. But this is the kind of stuff we've been out here slaying dragons for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, while the rich dudes have been sitting there going, oh my God, he's eating our lunch. We got to stop it. Let's call our friends. We've been there, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be there again, because once I do the takeover in the DR, that's what's going to be happening over there. All the rich dudes that pays their friends in the government, they're going to go, no, this guy's taking over. He's done did this. How did he do this all of a sudden? Because I've been doing this my whole life. Come on now. We know once I know the playing field, it's a wrap. Once I know what I can do, it's a wrap. So we'll see. Hopefully the guys do come through, because they know what's at stake. They know how much money's at stake. And it ain't no 5 million. It ain't no 6 million. It ain't no 10 million, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't no 15. Higher. It ain't no 20. Higher. In less than 36 to 48 months. Higher. All right. I'll be on the loose again. And then I'm coming back to America to do some damage as well. Since they wanted me out of retirement. I got to thank Gennaro. I got to thank Larimar. I got to thank the guys at 365 Beach Club. I got to thank Gwen. I got to thank Joel and his partners in Spain. I got to thank all those guys, because all those guys, when I went to go talk to them, they just know me as the YouTube guy. And so when I would give them suggestions, they would say things like, why don't you do it? And I'd be, and so I'm looking at them like, well, in my mind, I'm going, man, I was just giving suggestion because I don't really want to come out of retirement like that and do something. I just kind of like, chilling. I don't mind having a little fun talking on YouTube, but that was said one time, why don't you do it? And so on my response was, well, I just chuckled and said, hey, if I do it, that means I'm going to make the millions. I was just giving you a suggestion so you can make the millions, and then that way you have to do it. If you want me to do it, then that means you're not going to make no money. So, I'm like laughing like, maybe I won't do anything anyhow. I'm not really ready to come out of retirement. But then I go talk to the furniture guys, and they start telling me, hey, man, we want you to promote our project, and we want you to buy the unit and this, that, and the other. I said, man, I'm not going to buy a unit unless I design a unit. I mean, and I need something over 2,000 square feet anyhow. If I'm going to buy it and live in it or even rent it out, I need over 2,000 square feet. So I don't know what you're talking about. I said, that's not what I want to do. So then I have a three-way with the guys in Spain. I'm giving you guys some backside stuff. Because you want rich versus poor. This is what's going down. So these guys are thinking just like you guys say, hey, he's on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and some other live streams, and he's just helping people do this. No biggie. He doesn't have courses. He just wants everybody to win. So they talked, his partners in Spain talked to me, and he's like, after we're talking, and I'm telling them, I don't want to buy anything, but if you guys have properties you want to sell, then yeah, I might be interested in promoting it and then getting some commissions of some sort. So even after we talk and we're doing three-way and we're doing translations, because I'm translating and the guy in Spain is translating for me in Spanish, and he's sitting there after we're talking for 30, 40 minutes. It was unbelievable. He says, hey man, so when are you going to put down a deposit for the villas? And I was like, what are you talking about? We've been talking for 45 minutes and you know good and well we're not buying any villas. I was like, why are you bringing this up? You even translated for me 45 minutes ago telling him I'm not buying the villas. I'll promote the villas. And then this guy, he ends up saying, okay, I get you, but here's the kicker. The guy in Spain, when I say you can build these in 12 months, right? Yes. You can build these in 14 months, right? Yes. Okay. At the end of 12 months, a person's going to have 60 days to pay, so they got to have up to the 14th month to pay you down with this, right? Yes. You're a builder, right? Yes. I'm like, oh, now we got something to talk about. Because yes, I just started developments that I want to do in a DR. That's what I'm going to do. So now we can actually enter into an agreement this way. We'll actually all be partners. I don't like partners. I tell people this up front when we start talking partnerships. I say, I don't like partners. You know why? Because there's misunderstandings. When I move, I want to move. I don't want to call up and say, hey, man, what do you think about this? Oh, give me a few days. No, I'm moved already. I don't need that. I said, so here's the situation. I need you guys, if you say that you can build in 12 months, and I say we have to do a situation like 20% down, 40% during construction, 40% on delivery. Can you live with that schedule? And the other things I talked about, price increase, no price increase in the contract. Also, penalties if you don't finish by 12 months, like you said. I said, they go, okay, Eric, we'll agree to this. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm finally actually going to have some sort of partnerships, but it's separate corporations. I'm going to be collecting the money. You ain't holding it. When you get money is when you are building. We're going to do it the old fashioned way. So we ain't paying you up front. We're not doing all this crap. No, you get your money in, you're building it. So at the end of the year, we got enough to pay for the completion of this thing, 60, 70%, whatever it's going to end up being. So there is no excuses. This thing should be done. Yes, Eric, no problem. Okay. I get an email. We're going over what we talked about and agreed to. And I said, yeah, because we got to meet up at the my lawyer's office in the DR to sign the agreement. So let's go over a memorandum. They send me the memorandum. It says, lo and behold, on this memorandum, it says again, you need to deposit $5,000 into this account. I'm like, what are you? Seriously? Now remember, it's the guy in Spain sending me this stuff. I'm sitting there like, what is wrong with these people? We talked about this twice, and now again he's sending me this stuff. You know what I sent him? I sent them back a copy of SSN Lifestyle SRL. I said, maybe this will help you out. I don't need you. Then I do research and come to find out the guy that was talking about he can do all this stuff in Spain, he ain't even a freaking developer. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Are you serious right now? You don't even count. You're not even on the chessboard. Don't worry, though. That right there said, you know what? I'm coming. I'm just going to take over. If this is the activity that's going on in the DR, I'm coming. And when I come, we take over. And I already know what I'm going to be dealing with. I'm going to be slaying dragons. So now you guys understand it ain't for the faint at heart out here. When Mark Cuban's sitting on the Shark Tank set telling people that they're going to eat your lunch, Mr. Wonderful saying, you're a bug to me or whatever, I'll squash you like a bug. This is what they do. You don't understand. You could have the best products in the world, but as soon as you start getting market share and you don't share with them, they would rather squash you instead of letting you breathe and grow. You don't understand. They will call up their friends in government and police. They'll do whatever they can. All right? Don't let these clowns fool you out here. I've been hanging with these clowns. Don't let them fool you. They do dirt. All these people you guys may admire, half of them guys are assholes and they do dirt. All right? You guys just don't know about it because you're not privy to the lawsuits. I'm just saying. All right? So now, here we go. It's a good night tonight because SSN is live. I forgot that one. I love it. All right. The young millionaire in the house. Exactly, man. Exactly. So let's get real, ladies and gentlemen. Rich versus poor is a real thing. You may think that I illustrated the tax cuts, tax breaks, and all that. That's one thing. The laws that they impart to us, they don't do the same for the richest persons. All right, just keep that in mind. There is a different playing field. But the beauty of America is the playing field is not just one way, and there is no glass ceiling. You can always come up, but you might have to go around, through, and under. You might have to slay a few dragons along the way. But this is one of the few nations in a world where you can actually move up just by sheer thought processes, business settings, ideas, music, a whole bunch of genres, different ways, different businesses you can start and win. But just keep in mind, when you start getting the mills, all of a sudden there's a box or a red light that starts going off in somebody's office going, wait, did this guy just file something that said 3, 5, 10 mil? What's going on here? Who is this person? It must be illegal activity. That's the only way. It's got to be illegal. Come on. That's how they can confiscate your stuff. You guys know that, right? As soon as they say you do illegal, and heaven forbid if they say, oh, we found some drugs, because that means a drug seizure at that point. Now, they couldn't play with me like that, because anybody that generally does drugs, I ain't hanging out with. So they already knew. There's nobody that's going to get on any witness stand saying Eric does drugs or sells drugs or do anything with drugs. So they said, well, we better go a different route. We better go to the government and change laws, because there ain't nobody that's going to say shit like that. So we can't get them easily. So we better come up with something else. All right. Stealth mode, by the way. And by the way, I got to tell you one other thing about the car situation. I told this story before. Chrysler actually sent thugs to my office to tell me Chrysler said, don't do this anymore. How crazy is that? I'm literally saying guys didn't come in suits and tie and say, hey, we're lawyers for, or we're representing Chrysler. No, they sent biker looking dudes to come threaten me at my office. Chrysler sends a message and says, you need to stop. And I'm looking around like, who are you talking to? It's only us three in the office, so I'm assuming you're talking to me. I'm like, you do know who I am, right? And they're like, yeah, you sell cars. I said, right. So why is Chrysler sending you two clowns here? Did you ever think about that? And you two clowns might be getting hurt before you can get out of here. And they're looking like, what the frick? Yeah, okay, I have 9 mils. What the hell's wrong with you? In my desk. Seriously? Okay, no problems. We're leaving. I know you are. I'm like, what is this? This is what Chrysler did, ladies and gentlemen. We won't even get into what Ford did, but I might as well. So Ford, they paid police officers to follow me, tap my phone. And then when they found out, hey, this guy's not even talking about anything but business or to some girls about when he's going to take them out or something, there ain't no activity here that's illegal. That what the hell you want us to do? Just pull him over. Maybe he's carrying something. On a Friday, Saturday night. Nah. Not carrying. Nothing. Sorry. Not going to happen. Ain't going to catch me slipping. They tried. So see, ladies and gentlemen, slaying dragons is my thing. I don't care. All right, let's go. Mo Better. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. And he has that icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he brings his tagline this evening. The investor himself is here. What's up, SSN Nation? What's up, E? You know it's always a good day when we're here live. And we in this MFer is right. We in the building to change lives, ladies and gentlemen. Got the notification and one piece stat like button. That's right. That's what we do up in here. I appreciate that, Mo. And very, very nice to see you once again this evening. So we're going over long war stories. But once again, we coming, ladies and gentlemen. So all I can say is rich versus poor. Stop trying to help these guys because they don't need any of your help. The government's already helping them. You need to worry about helping yourself and your family. That's what you need to be concentrating on. So getting assets is a must. We've talked about the wealth inequality. There's no way around it. If somebody owns 97.4% of the wealth and you only own 2.6% of the wealth, how are you going to catch them? Well, you better start thinking about catching them, because what they're doing is buying assets. You need to buy assets. That's the only way you can catch them. And one of the other ways is you're going to have to start your own business of some sort, because a business has no revenue restriction. So if you make $1 million, you make it. If you make 5 million, you make it. If you make 10 million, you make it. But that's the only way you can move up the wealth curve. If you work for somebody else, it's not going to happen in any short form. 30, 40 years of time means things cost 3 to 5 times more. So therefore, you can't get ahead even if you make 3 to 5 times more. That ain't going to help you. So again, they have you by the cojones and you don't realize it. That's why SSN Nation, we talk about buying assets that pay you, not liabilities. So again, if you think the last 5 years have been something very interesting and price increases are dramatic, wait till the next 5, because the clock is ticking. As soon as it chimes midnight, you know what midnight sounds like? It sounds like this right here. Jerome Powell gets up on the speaker or podium and says, we are cutting the federal funds rate. Boom. That is your sign that you are about to delve into the twilight zone, and you may not come out if you are not buying assets, because the wealthy are about to be able to get wealthier a lot faster than you. If they have $1 trillion at their disposal and all you have is 100 million, who do you think is going to squash you? They are. You cannot even get in the ballpark, because now they are doing 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion to your 100 million in profits. That means they're buying up all the assets. That means they're going to be renting. You're going to have to rent from them if you don't find yourself getting assets that pay you. So you need to get that apartment building. You need to buy up asset classes that constant. You need to have what they have. You need to be in their game. So that's what I always did, right? I said, okay, car dealerships, can't buy one. I'll infiltrate. Great. Real estate game, can't buy apartment complexes. I'll infiltrate. Then it went, I can buy apartment complexes. So now you can't stop me until you can call up your favorite DOJ official and make up stories. All right, you can do it. They do this. Don't be fooled out here. All right, enough. It's what is this, 8 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. I've ranted and raved enough so you guys understand the urgency here. This is the same similar urgency I was talking about in 2019, 2018, 2020. Except this time, I've been talking about this for the last year and a half. Since they've been increasing interest rates, I told you this is the last time you're going to be able to even be on the chessboard. Because after this last time that they reduced the interest rates, and now all of the guys that have the trillions of dollars under assets management, they will be able to go to the Federal Reserve, who prints up money out of thin air, and say, I need $200-300 million at interest only for 15 years. They will get it. And they will be buying up your whole neighborhood, your whole businesses to drive you out of business. They will take over. And you better have pieces so they can't take over your family, your friends. And you should be thinking offshore as well, outside of the United States as well. Do not put anything past a third world country. such as shutting down passports to whoever they feel like. All right? Do not put it past them. Like I said, think about residency, think about citizenship in other countries. That should be high on your list. Get a passport. If you can get dual passports, that should be high on your list. All of this you should be thinking about. If anything happens to me, watch this in replay. It's coming. All right? It's coming. These guys want to be with like Russian oligarchs over here. All right? That's what they want. Stop playing. It's going to happen. This next 5 years is going to be hell for everybody that doesn't have assets. Okay? If you think the last 5 was something interesting, that was just a little warm up. Because what's going to happen in the next 5 after they reduce the interest rates is going to be the mother of all crazy. You could have fluctuations where things go down all of a sudden and it's worthless. It'll be worthless for the ordinary 90%, but the top 10%, remember, they have businesses off of the United States continent. Remember? And they're still holding the assets. So they're going to be all right. But potentially, we have 50% of the population that will go down. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, financially, it's systemic, and minorities have already felt the wrath. It's just that most of the other people have not until lately. But wait till you see what's about to happen later, because nobody now generally has lived in the 1930s to see what happens when there's a total collapse. Color don't matter, ain't going to help you. So we could be there again. And if you're not going to be prepared, it's better to be prepared just in case than to find out later, otherwise known as F around and find out. All right? We don't want that, ladies and gentlemen, for you. You don't have to be there. Now, I should show a little something. Hold on a second. I got something else too. We might as well show a little love here. It's not already ready to go yet, but might as well give you a little preview. Let me see. Let me get myself out. Let's go out of this. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. Okay, there we go. StreamYard. Yeah, there we go. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's whoops. That's not what I want. All right. All right. And the next probably tomorrow, Saturday, I got to do something Sunday. So in the next few days, this is what we don't have the image really, but I still like it. Here we go. There's what it's looking like. This is what we're coming to. You'll be able to buy tickets this weekend, probably starting Sunday, because I got to do some stuff tomorrow. You'll be able to click on this. It'll go to the tickets. 2 weeks. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So check this out. We're going to have Club Nouveau. Their top 30 hit is going down the charts. So by the time they come in May, they could have a top 10 hit, and they'll be coming. May 16th through the 19th, they're one of the groups that's going to be playing. And then Sean Rayford and Lucky Weatherspoon and some other Latin artists is going to be playing May 9th to the 12th. And we're going to have a few other artists coming. It's going down. And the SSN Lifestyle Club, we're going to be implementing that as well. I'm finalizing the first deal that we're going to have. But the SSN Lifestyle Club is what you hear. That's the right to use portion. All right. We're going to have several other offshoots of the SSN Lifestyle. Financial. We got several things. I'm not going to let the cats out the bag just yet. All right. About us. This is actually a rendering of high-end property, and I'm not going to say where, that's going to be built. All right. We've been in the lab, ladies and gentlemen. Just had to give you a little preview. So now you'll see things are coming along for the SSN Lifestyle. So there you go. Once again, it's going down. The takeover, SSN Nation takeover is going down one way or another. Nobody's going to stop it because the ball is rolling. I'm in negotiations. We're almost had the deal final until people sent me the wrong measurements of a lot. I can't believe it. These guys keep insisting the lot is this. And I'm like, look, guys, I got the plat map. It's nowhere near what you're saying. I don't even know what you're talking about, quite frankly. Apparently, we're either talking about two different locations or we're talking about you're BSing. Because right now you're BSing because this is not this. There's no lot 300 meters long. That's 330 yards. That's not a thing. I'm like, it's like, that's not a thing. I have the plat map. Plat map says 80 feet long, not 300 meters. That's only 25 meters. That's it, not 300. So something's wrong. Something's not right. So we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm about to wrap this up tonight because I went off on a little rant. Because once you start looking at these wealth gap, wealth inequality numbers, and you realize who's voting for it and who's doing something, and you realize people are still cheering to vote against their best interest, and they're cheering to give the wealthiest guys the breaks. Meanwhile, at your detriment, 99% is crazy when you have 0.1%, 300,000 people own more wealth than half the population. That is insane. That's insane right there. That is so ludicrous. Ludicrous. The bottom 50% own 2.6% of all the wealth. That's ludicrous. I mean, this is just crazy. This is crazy. 50% only owns 2.6% of the wealth. That's 150 million Americans. Once you realize these numbers, you would be like thinking something needs to change because the next boom for assets means the top 10% is going to dwarf everybody else. If you think they own 66.6% of the wealth right now, watch what happens when they reduce these interest rates. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be able to partake in that reduction of an interest rate. That's why we have SSN Financial coming. We're doing our own in-house financing. That's right. In-house financing. This is going to be awesome. And who does that help? No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. I'm just saying, we coming. All right, we're going to close the chapter on this one on this Friday evening. I want to thank everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys bearing with me after all these little stories. But have a very, very safe weekend. Have a nice weekend. You guys know I love you very much, and I appreciate all the love and support that you have given me over the years. And we're still not going to stop no matter what we're doing, but we're going to be bringing you along for the ride. That just means more trip to the island. That also means you guys are about to learn some more new things because I will be setting up a few other things where I can then talk to you about holding companies, how to set them up offshore. I'll have the attorney, Glennie, will be on, and we'll discuss how it's all set up. We'll have the accountants on, so they'll tell you how you can set this up. So therefore, I'm paying for it. You guys get to find out for free. Come on now. No course to sell. You just got to be here. And with all that said, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, I know it's hard out here because, again, I started off this live stream, rich versus poor. 60% do not have $500 in the bank account. 70% don't have $1,000. We know this. So therefore, you can't hide. And we also know it's all-time record high with debt for the bottom 50% of the population. Of course, that would make sense, right? Since people are living paycheck to paycheck and 60% don't even have 180 million people don't even have $500 in their bank account. It makes sense you would borrow. Makes perfectly good sense. Or use your credit cards and pay minimums. Makes perfectly good sense. So who do you think that helps? Because they're the ones charging you 27%, 30% annually. And you're paying minimum, and you're going to be paying for the next 20 years. You do understand this, I hope. And you're helping these guys out by getting tax cut, tax breaks, and subsidies. Go figure. All right. Fair enough. But once again, we all have to participate because we all have to pay our federal taxes. Well, not all of us. Not the top 1%ers. They figure out another way around it. Not the top 10%ers. They figure out another way around it. So they don't pay their fair share. But you, ordinary citizen, you're not going to be able to get around it. So let's talk on Monday. Hopefully I'll have better news about the SSN Nation takeover. The musical event tickets should be up definitely by Monday. I know they'll be up this weekend, but on Monday you'll be able to buy tickets. It's going to be 2 weekends. So now a person's going to have a decision. Come one weekend, come the other weekend. Am I going to be there during the week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week to partake in the real estate investment portion? Well, we will find out. Tickets will be on sale. Yes, there will be VIP tickets. Yes, there will be something called gold package. Yes, this is going to be a thing. Yes, the artist and we're going to have some, let's just call it brunch and dinner specials for the VIP crowd. Let's just put it like it is, right? But of course you pay for it. The artist will be there. They'll be performing, having a nice little sit down, eat, drink, mingle. Yeah, of course, not general population. So that's going to be a different thing. So we're going to have several things that you can do, ladies and gentlemen. So just stay tuned for that. Please join me on Monday night at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be greatly appreciated. And before I go, I'm going to give some love. I don't know if this is going to be all right, ladies and gentlemen. Hint, hint, hint. I'll let you know if we get the funding. It still has not come across. They keep saying we will, we could, we should, we wire, we do. I'm like, it's another day. I don't get excited until it hits my account. Then we'll be happy. All right. With all that said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay safe out here. Make sure you understand people are under stress and duress. So keep that in your mind as you go throughout the days and the weeks and wherever you are. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.